Okay, students, next is the data link layer protocols. In order to deal with the flow and error control, we have four protocols defined for data link layer, and they are simple, stop and wait, go back and selective repeat. The first two, that is the simple and stop and wait, these protocols are still used in today, but the last two we don't use nowadays, so we will not discuss those two. Okay. We can use a finite state machine to understand the behavior of data link layer protocol better. So we will see what is this finite state machine. Okay, this machine has a finite number of states. Until an event occurs, the machine will be in any one of the states. Each event is associated with two reactions. So that is, one is defining the list of actions to be performed, and one more is determining the next state. As shown in the diagram, see this arrow mark here, that is a colored arrow mark, it shows the start of a state. Okay, in this figure, it shows a machine with the two states, state 1 and state 2. There are only three possible events. Okay, event 1, event 2, event 3, and three possible actions: action 1, action 2, action 3. Okay, the machine start in state 1. I told you this arrow mark is it represents the start. Okay, it starts in machine in state 1. If event 1 occurs, the machine performs action 1 and 2 and moves to the state 2 there. Okay, from state 2, two events may occur. If event 1 occurs, then machine performs action 3 and remain in state 2 itself. If event 3 occurs, then the machine performs no action, but it moves to the first state, that is state 1 there. Okay, understood, right? What is a finite state machine? Next, we will see the first protocol, and that is the simple protocol. What is a simple protocol? In this protocol, there is no flow or error control. Here we assume that receiver can handle any frame it receives. That means this particular the sender will keep on sending the frames and receiver will receive the frames. Okay, and the sender is not bothered whether the receiver is discarding the frame or it is perfectly receiving the frame. Okay, this figure shows the layout of the simple protocol. Here at the sending node, the data link layer, this one, data link layer receives a packet from its network layer and makes a frame out of it and sends the frame. See, from here a packet arrives to the data link layer. When the packet arrives, this particular data link layer will encapsulate it into a frame. That is, it will encapsulate frame in packet into a frame, and this frame is sent from sender to the receiver through the logical link there. Okay, now the receiver receives the frame from the link, and it will extract the packet from the frame and sends it to the network layer. Okay, now let's see the finite state machine for the simple protocol. Okay, figure shows the FSMs, that is finite state machines for simple protocol. The two requirements are, see, the two requirements is given here. The first requirement is the sender site should not send a frame until its network layer has a message to send. And the second requirement is that is unless a packet arrives from the network layer to the data link layer, this is not supposed to send any frame here. Okay, that is the first requirement. The second requirement says the receiver site cannot deliver a message to its network layer until a frame arrives. That is, this receiver site will wait for the frame to arrive. Once if it arrives, then only it will send the packet to the upper, that is the network layer. These requirements can be shown using two finite state machines. See here, two finite state machines are given in this figure. Each machine has only one state, that is the ready state. One state here. See, this ready one state in the sending node finite state machine, and one state, that is ready state in receiving node finite machine. The sending machine remains in this ready state until a packet arrives from the data, that is from the network layer. Once if the packet arrives here, see this arrow mark, colored arrow mark, it means the beginning of a state. Okay. Once if the packet arrives from the network layer, what it will do? It will encapsulate it in a frame and send it to the receiver through some logical link. Okay. Now, this at the receiving node, the receiver is in the ready state. Okay, this is the start. It is in the ready state. The receiver machine remains in this ready state until a frame is received. Once the frame is received here, it will decapsulate it. Nothing but it will extract the packet out of the frame and send the packet to the network layer there. Okay. Next, this figure shows an example of this communication using a simple protocol. You have a sending node and a receiving node. Okay, it is very simple. The sender sends the frames continuously and to the receiver without even thinking about the receiver. See here, at the sending node, you have a data network layer, and this shows the data link layer. From the network layer, at a time t, it sends two packets to the data link layer. At the data link layer, it will encapsulate the packet into frame. Okay, frames, and this frames are sent through this logical link, and it reaches the receiving node. Here at the data link layer, what happens? This frame is decapsulated. That is, you are extracting the packet out of the frame, and once of the packet is extracted, the packet is sent to the network layer there. Okay. Next is the stop and wait protocol. Our second protocol is stop and wait protocol. It uses both flow control and error control. In this protocol, the sender sends one frame at a time and waits for an acknowledgement before sending the next frame here. Okay. Now at the sending node, data link layer receives a packet from the network layer. It then forms a frame which includes the CRC. Okay, CRC is the cyclic redundancy check code. See this black color here represents the CRC code. Okay, now and it is sent to the receiver through the logical link. Through this logical link, this particular frame which includes this CRC is sent. At the receiver, what happens? The data link layer, okay, this data link layer checks the CRC code, this particular CRC code, and if it is corrupted, then it will discard the frame. Okay, discard means it will, it will not consider the frame. Okay, discard the frame, else the packet is sent to the, if it is not corrupted, then the packet will be sent to the this one, that is the network layer here. Okay, the sender here, what happens is the sender now waits until the timer expires. Here is a timer. Okay, until this time expires, it will wait, and if it doesn't receive the acknowledgement, that is, it is waiting for the acknowledgement before the timer expires. Okay, if it doesn't receive the acknowledgement, then it will resend the frame again. Same frame copy will be sent to the receiver again. Okay, how it will resend? See here, when initially when a packet arrives from this one network layer, and at the data link layer, when it is creating a frame, one copy of this frame will be saved here at the data link layer, and the one copy of the frame will be sent through the link. Okay, and when after the time period when an acknowledgement is not received, this particular frame copy which is saved here, that copy will be resent again. Understood, right? Why you are keeping a frame copy here at the data link layer. Okay, this is how this stop and wait protocol works. Okay, next is the finite state machine for the stop and wait protocol. Okay, the sender here, the sender is initially in the ready state. See, this arrow mark represents the start of a state. Okay, Now at the sending node, the sender is in the ready state. When it is in ready state, it waits for the packet to arrive from network layer. That is, it is waiting for the packet to arrive now. Okay. After the packet arrives, the sender creates a frame out of it and saves one copy with it and starts the timer. A timer is set here and sends the, and then it will send the frame. Sender then moves to the, that is the sender will then move to this blocking state. In the blocking state, 3 events can occur. Okay, 3 events can occur. The first event is if a timeout occurs. If a timeout occurs, the sender resends the saved copy of the frame. Okay, it will resend the saved copy. Second event is if a corrupted acknowledgement arrives. See here, if a corrupted acknowledgement arrives, it is discarded. That is, the frame is discarded. Now, acknowledgement is discarded. Okay. Third event is if an error-free acknowledgement arrives, then the from the receiver, then the sender stops the timer and discards saved copy here, copy of the frame, and moves back to ready state. It will come back to this ready state again. Okay. Now at the receiving node, the receiver node is always in ready state. So here this is the start of the state. This arrow mark represents the start of the state. These states are always represented by a rounded rectangle. Okay, this rounded rectangle represents the state. Here 2 events can occur, these 2 events. Okay, the first event is if an error-free frame arrives, the message in the frame is sent to network layer and an acknowledgement is sent. Okay. Second event is if a corrupted frame arrives, this event, then the frame is discarded. Okay. Here is an example shown in this figure. See, to the here there are 2 nodes, that is sending node and receiving node, and each node here the network layer and the data link layer is represented similar way. Okay. Now from the network layer, the packet arrives at this data link layer. Now this packet is encapsulated in a frame and it is sent to the receiving node. Okay, at the receiving node, it receives the frame, decapsulates the frame and sends the packet to the network layer, and an acknowledgement is sent back to the sending node there. Okay, this is when the packet is sent properly from the sending node to the receiving node. Now see to the second case where a packet is sent from received from network layer to the data link layer. It is encapsulated and frame is formed. This frame is sent through the link, but that particular frame is lost in between. Now what happens? This timer, until the a timer is set, right? Until that time, this sending node will wait for the acknowledgement. Once if it sees that the acknowledgement is not received within a time, this particular sending node will resend the frame. You already have the copy of the frame, so it will resend the frame again, and the receiving at the receiving node it will receive the frame, it will decapsulate it, and the packet is sent to the network layer. Okay, when the packet is sent to the network layer, it also acknowledges the sending node within the timer time. Okay, next one more case we'll see, that is packet arrives from the network layer. Here in the data link layer, it is encapsulated into frame. Now the frame is sent through the logical link. Okay, it arrives at the receiving node and the packet is sent to the network layer. Now an acknowledgement is sent back to the sender by the receiving node, but what happens in between, the acknowledgement packet is lost here. Okay, now this at the sending node, what happens, this sending node is waiting for the acknowledgement until the timer expires. Okay, once if the timer expires, what happens, this particular sending node will think that the packet is not received by the receiver, so the frame is not received by the receiver. So what the sending node will do, it will send the frame again to the receiving node there. Okay, again the same frame is received here at the receiving node. Now the receiving node, what it will do, it will decapsulate and the packet is sent to the network layer there. But this time the packet which is sent to the network layer is the duplicate of this one. Already it is sent, again the same frame has been received and the same packet is sent to the network layer, and now it this time it will, and the sending node will receive the acknowledgement here. Okay, but the problem is you have sent the that is same frame twice here. Now this is a problem. How to solve this problem of duplicate packet? The solution for that is using a sequence for frame as well as for the acknowledgement. Sequence means some number sequence. Okay, for the frame and acknowledgement to make sure that no duplicate packets are sent to the network layer. This figure shows an example using the this one, that is the sequence for frame and acknowledgement. Okay, now see to the we'll see to the different cases here. Here is the network layer, data link layer at the sending node, data link layer at the receiving node, and network layer at the receiving node. Okay, now at the network in the first case, a packet is sent from the network layer to the data link layer here. Now the data link layer will encapsulate the packet into frame and it will send a frame with the sequence 0. Okay. Now this frame is received by the data link layer, and this here it is decapsulated and sent to the network layer, and an acknowledgement is sent back. Now see the sequence, the number of the frame received is 0. So the acknowledgement sent back is 1. See to the sequence. Okay. When 0 frame is received, the acknowledgement number should be 1 day. Okay. Before the timer expires, acknowledgement is received and that particular frame transmission is done properly. Next, See to the next case, one more case where the packet is arrived at the data link layer. Here the packet is encapsulated. Frame 1 is sent. See, earlier frame 0 was sent. Now the alternate, opposite of this one, next one more sequence, that is the frame 1 is sent. Once once the acknowledgement 1 is received, it will send frame 1. Okay, but this frame is lost in between the when it is sending through the logical connection, it is lost in between, so it is not received at the receiving node. Now what happens, the sender will wait until the timer expires. Once if the timer expires, time is up, now what it will do, it will resend this particular frame, that is frame 1, it will resend again. Now this is received by the receiver, packet is sent to the network layer, and a acknowledgement is sent back with the acknowledgement number 0. When frame 1 is received, acknowledgement 0 is given back to the sending node there. Okay, before the timer expires, it will receive the acknowledgement and that particular transmission of packet frame is done there. Okay. Now see to the last case where in the last example you had a problem of duplicate packet, right? Now how it is solved using this sequence. Using the sequence, how it is solved. See, a packet arrives from the network layer to the data link layer in the receiving node. Now a frame is encapsulated, a frame is formed, and frame number sent is frame 0. It is received at the receiving node, and a packet is extracted, that is the packet goes to the network layer there. Okay, and an acknowledgement 1 is sent back, but this is lost in between, so acknowledgement is not received at the sending node before the timer expires. So what happens, when the timer expires, the sending node will resend which one, the frame 0 again, the frame 0 again. But when this frame 0 arrives at the receiving node, this receiving node understands that this is the packet which I have received earlier. So what it will do, it will not send the packet to the network layer, it will just discard that particular frame and send the acknowledgement that it has received. That is, it is sending the acknowledgement 1 again to the this one receiving node. Here before the timer expires, it will receive the acknowledgement and the transmission is done smoothly. Okay, hope you understood this stop and wait protocol. Okay, next is piggy banking. See, the two protocols what we discussed is for unidirectional communication. Okay, that is communication in only one direction. But whereas here in piggybacking, the communication is bidirectional, that is in both the directions. Okay, this figure shows the piggybacking. When data is sent from node A to node B, the node B receives the data here. Okay, when it receives the data from node A, the node B has a data to send to node A. So what it will do, it will send the data which has to be sent to the node A along with the acknowledgement for the received data. Okay, So it will send data and acknowledgement together to node A. Now node A will send the next data to node B. At this time, B doesn't have data to send, so only the acknowledgement is sent back to the node A there. Again, what happens? Next B has data to be sent. Now B node will send data to node A. Okay. Now at node A, the node A wants to send data to node B. So it will send the acknowledgement for this data along with the data to be sent to node B. This piggy banking, it makes the communication complex. So it is not a common practice to use. That is, we doesn't use this often. Okay. Next is the point-to-point protocol. Okay. These are the services provided by the point-to-point protocols. First is the point-to-point protocol defines a format of the frame to be exchanged between the devices. That means a fixed format, frame format for all the frames to be sent using this point-to-point protocol. Okay. Next strategy services, it defines how two devices can negotiate the establishment of link and the exchange of data. That is how two devices can establish and exchange the data. Okay. Next, it defines the network layer data. That is, it defines how network layer data are encapsulated in the data link frame. That means, see, from the network layer, it receives packet, isn't it, to the data link layer. At the data link layer, it has to be encapsulated, isn't it? The packet has to be encapsulated within a frame. This particular protocol will define how to encapsulate the packet inside the frame. Okay. Next service is it defines how two devices can authenticate each other. That is, authenticate means verify each other. That is, verify whether it is the intended user and sender or not. Okay. How that it will define how to authenticate each other. Okay. Next, point-to-point protocol provides multiple network layer services supporting a variety of network layer protocols. It supports variety of network layer protocols. Okay. Next is point-to-point protocol provides connections over multiple links. Simultaneously, it can connect to multiple links. Next services, this point-to-point protocol provides network address configuration. This is particularly useful when a home user needs a temporary network address to connect to the internet. Next is the limitations of point-to-point protocol. First limitation is it does not provide the flow control. Flow control means controlling the flow of data from this one, that is the sender to the receiver. That means the rate at which the sender sends the data has to be the rate at which the receiver receives the data. Or if there is no control, then you can solution is to use a buffer. Okay. So here in point-to-point protocol, it does not provide any flow control. Okay. And the second limitation is the point-to-point protocol has a very simple mechanism for error control. That is, using a CRC field is used to detect errors. If the frame is corrupted, it is silently, every time it is silently discarded. The upper layer protocol needs to take care of the problem. Next is the lack of error control and sequence numbering, like what we saw just before, that is numbering a sequence 0 1, so that to make sure that the packet is received in order. But here in a point-to-point protocol, it does not give a sequence numbering, which may cause a packet to be received out of order. Okay, since there is no sequence number, the packets might be received in out of order. Next is the point-to-point protocol does not provide a sophisticated addressing mechanism to handle the frames in a multi-point configuration. Okay. Now we will see the point-to-point protocol frame format. This figure shows the point-to-point frame format. Okay, it uses a character oriented frame format. We discussed earlier what is a character oriented frame format. Each of the field is a multiple of a byte, isn't it? In a character oriented protocol frame format, or you can say it is also a byte oriented frame format. Each field of the frame is a multiple in bytes. Okay, figure shows the format of the frame here. First field is this flag field, which is of 1 byte there. Okay, and the pattern is usually the flag field will use the pattern that is 0 followed by, what is the pattern? 0 followed by 6 ones, isn't it? 3 4 5 6, and then again a 0. This is the flag. Okay, usually this flag is used. Next field is the address field here. Okay, in this protocol, that is in point-to-point protocol, this address field is a constant value, and it is always set to this 111111. That is nothing but the broadcast address. Okay, third field is the control field, and this address field is 1 byte. Okay, it occupies 1 byte in the frame. Next is the control field there. Okay, control field is a constant value as shown here. It is a constant value, that is 00000011, and it occupies 1 byte in the frame. Next is the protocol field, which is 1 to 2 bytes there. It occupies 1 to 2 bytes long. It defines what is carried in the data field here. What is carried here is defined here. That is whether it is a user data or it is some other information. Okay. Next field is this payload field here. Okay, this payload field carries either the user data or it carries the some other type of informations. Next is the okay. and this here it can vary. That is the byte here, the payload for the payload field is variable. It varies according to the frame. Okay. Next, sixth field is this FCS. FCS is nothing but frame check sequence, which is simply a 2 to 4 byte field, which provides a standard CRC, that is cyclic redundancy code check. That is in order to check for the errors. This code is that is CRC code is included here in this frame format. Okay, and then the last field, that is the flag. Always in a frame, you at the beginning you have a flag to represent the starting of a frame, and at the end you have the same flag to represent the end of the frame is reached. Okay, here again the flag code is 0 followed by 6 ones, and then followed by one more 0 there. Next is the transition phases. Okay. Figure shows the transition phase diagram of the point-to-point protocol connection. This is the finite state machine representation. Okay. This finite state machine, it starts with the dead state. How do you identify the start here? To this arrow mark, blue arrow mark, which will indicate the start of a finite state machine. Okay, now it starts with the dead state here. This is the initial state. Okay, now what is this dead state? In this state, there is no active carrier and the line is white here in that state. Okay, next to the connection, once if the carrier is detected, that is when two nodes start communicating, the carrier is detected and the connection goes to the next state, that is the established state. The second state is this established state here. Okay, in this state, authentication is done. Okay, established state. Once if this established state is not done, then carrier detection failed, then it will go back to this dead state there. If establishment in this state, authentication is done if required by the two parties. If the two parties requires authentication, then this authentication is done. Otherwise, parties can simply start communication. Okay. Once if it wants to authenticate, it will move to the authenticate state here. Okay. In the authenticate state, if authentication is successful, it will move to the communication. That is, it can start the communication. The two parties can start the communication here. Okay. Only if the authentication is successful. If it is not successful, then it will move to the terminate state here. That is, stop the communication. Okay. Now, this authentication is optional. That is, it can authenticate if the two parties, that is the sender as well as the receiver, both of these parties wants to authenticate, then only this state, particular state is used. Now, what is this authenticate? Authenticate is nothing but verifying that I am sending, the sender is sending the packet to the intended receiver itself. Understood? That is the other person. In the other end is the right person to whom I am sending the packet. Similar way, the receiver will authenticate that the whatever data is received is from the person whom I can trust. That is called authentication. Okay. Now, if this authentication is not required, then from the established state, it will go to the next state, that is a network state. For network layer configuration, then it moves to the open state. Usually the data transfer takes place in this open state here. Okay, in this open state, when connection reaches this open state, the exchange of data packets will start. Okay, this is also called the data transfer state. The connection remains until one of the two parties wants to terminate, and the system goes to the terminate state. That is, in this state, all the data which the sender wants to send to the receiver is sent, and vice versa. All the data transfers is completed, and any of these parties, that is either the sender or the receiver, if any of this party wants to stop the communication, then only it will move from this open state to the terminate state. That is the last state of this finite state machine. That is the terminate state. Okay. Once the physical layer connection is lost, it moves to the dead state again. From the terminate state, it will wait in this terminate state until all the signals in the network layer is ended. Now the carrier is dropped, and then only it will move to the next last state, that is the dead state. So in this finite state machine, what and all we saw, the how many states are there? 6 states are there. Initial state is this dead state, and the last state is this terminate state. Always this arrow mark represents the starting of a state, and each state in the machine diagram, finite state machine diagram, always the state is represented by a rounded rectangle. Okay, and the state name is written inside this particular one. And when the event occurs, it will move to the next state, or it will continue in the same state. Okay, hope you understood this transition phases. Now in the next session, we will discuss about the lower sublayer of data link layer, that is media access control. Till now, whatever we discussed was about data link control. It is nothing but one of the sublayers of data link layer. Okay, this data link layer is divided into two sublayers. I told you it is divided into two sublayers. One is data link control, which is the first chapter in the fourth module, which we discussed till now. And the second sublayer is the media access control. That is the second chapter in fourth module, which we will be discussing in the next session. Okay. Thank you, students, for listening.